Hey, Kevin, how do you make a Hollow Knight?
I don't know, Steve. How do you make a Hollow Knight?
You leave dirty magazines in his bedroom.
Oh, snap.
Heyo. Oh, snap, son. Damn. Hello, party people. Sorry for being a bit subdued today, but my throat is under duress, so I can't give you the full-on... I can't be as high energy as I want to be. I feel high energy, I just can't sound high energy, or else I might die. So I'm just gonna... This is the top energy I can give you today. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll have to pick up the slack.
I mean...
Said the guy that calls himself Mr. Monotone on the internet.
That'll be a first. Whoa, I should not do that. That was terrible.
If you can at least muster up the energy to say it's your boy Dre,
it's
just not going to feel right.
It is your boy Dre. It is your boy Dre right here in full effect, chomping on a cough drop, which hopefully does not translate to the microphone. All the clicky cloth drop? Wow. Cough drop-ness. Wow, I already am having a stroke. It has been, a minute into the show? I'm already having a medical issue. Jesus. Well, speaking of medical issues, actually, that's not a segue at all. That has nothing to do with anything. Wow.
If you would have played Trauma Center this week, we would have been on fire.
Yeah. Oh my God. Kevin, save me. Talk about a video game, please.
Oh, I'm up first. All right. Let me take a breath here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is something we usually discuss before the show, but I was bad today.
We're wildly unorganized. That's okay. I'm really looking forward to talking about this one. I've been waiting all week. Gravity Rush. I've been interested in this for a while. It's constantly coming up as one of the most underrated games of all time. I know Andre said he really liked it before. I'm going to be honest. It looked interesting. I really had a strong feeling that this game may not be for me. I wound up grabbing it because it was 50% off, but I kind of thought that maybe I'd play it for a little bit and not like it or feel kind of just lukewarm on it. And I'll tell you why, mostly because I was concerned that the gravity switching mechanic was just going to feel kind of sloppy and...
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say real quick. You are definitely playing the PS4 port of the Vita game, right?
Yes,
like you
remastered.
Were not... Okay.
Yeah, you betcha.
Just for sure. I originally, for everyone's instance, when I chime in, I've only played it on Vita. So I don't...
So we've got an OG here.
Yeah, we got an OG here. So go on. Sorry.
Kevin, do you have a Vita?
I do not have a Vita, actually. I've got a PlayStation TV, so...
Oh, that's, yes, you're getting there.
It's almost a Vita.
I can play about 45% of the Vita library with that bad boy. Yeah, I don't know. I was just a little bit hesitant about this game. And you know what? To be honest, I didn't really want to come on the show and be like, oh, this, critically acclaimed game, I didn't like it because I couldn't figure it out or it felt... disorienting or whatever.
I would never do such a thing in 20 minutes from
well,
now.
I don't know. I feel like this one's just got this kind of like certain place in history where it would be especially egregious to knock on it. It doesn't matter. Maybe I'll just come out and say it. This game honestly earns a spot on my mental list of my favorite games of all time. And you know what? I haven't even quite finished it yet. I've just been short on time lately because I don't think it's a hugely long game. But boy, I'm going to have a hard time thinking of anything to be critical about it. So I'm just going to sit here and endlessly gush for a little bit. Number one, the presentation is just outstanding. I'm not against anime type graphics or anything, but it's not something that I'm drawn to. This has got kind of this anime steampunk aesthetic to it.
Kevin will never be a Mega 10 boy.
I will not be a Mega 10 boy. I apologize. But it works so well here, and it's got this comic book story presentation that it kind of does with cutscenes, which is really interesting because you can actually use like motion controls on the controller just to like move around the frame a little bit and look at it. It just makes it feel a little bit more in depth.
I forgot about that feature. Yeah, I did enjoy doing that on Vita. Yeah, as you
And
can
I'm not-
imagine, that would work on that system very well, right? So,
and I'm
yeah.
not doing it all the time, but once in a while, there's just an especially interesting frame that it's just fun to jostle around a little bit.
Yeah.
All the presentation, the art style, it's just immaculate, and it's exactly what it needed to be for that game. Gameplay itself, like I kept thinking about Grand Theft Auto, obviously wildly different games. But I don't know, when I play Grand Theft Auto, I always just find myself like everybody just driving around and shooting shit and, you know, running away from the cops and blowing up stuff. This game is kind of similar in that aspect because it's just fun to play. I find myself spending, you know, half an hour at a time just flying around the city and picking up gems and just dicking around. It's just fun to traverse and do whatever. That gravity mechanic itself is incredible. I really don't think it should work as well as it does. It's incredibly intuitive. And I expected it to be disorienting. Sometimes it is disorienting, but in a good way, to the point where, you know, I don't know which direction is up, but it doesn't matter. The camera always adjusts itself in such a way that it's easy to know where you want to direct yourself to go next. And the thing that's so great about that is they can, the game is, I haven't found it overly difficult so far. And they almost could have bumped up the difficulty a little bit more because it is so intuitive and it does handle so well, that there's nothing stopping the gameplay period as far as the controls and that gravity mechanic. So there's no buffer they had to build in, you know, to allow for sloppy controls, which is absolutely what I would have expected out of that game. And you know what, for something, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that playing it on Vita, obviously you have one thing that you don't have on PS4 is the back touch panel.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a bit, the problem is it's been too long for me to remember if that was used in Gravity Rush. I'm pretty sure it was, but I'm pretty sure that's also something you can just map to whatever. Obviously, the PS4 has, you know, an L2 and an R2. The Vita doesn't have that, right? So there's some extra functionality. If I were a smarter person, I probably would have kicked that on PlayStation Now real quick and just seen, you know, what the deal was.
I would have expected that on Vita that touchpad would have been for the dodging, which you can do on the DualSense or the PS4 controller with the touchpad, or just by using R2 and tilting the stick one way.
Okay, so maybe that's it then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, just because they had mapped that to the touchpad on those controllers. That's probably what they would have done on Vita.
Perfect.
I don't know, if the camera was bad in that game, it would have been terrible. It would have been a mess, and it wouldn't have been enjoyable whatsoever. It just works. You know, the combat is relatively simple. They give you a few different moves you can use, but definitely your bread and butter is like your aerial kick that you do while you're in the air. And so, you know, somebody could make the argument that it's repetitive, but for me, it's consistently stayed engaging. It's just fun to do that, that fairly basic combat over and over. Not only is it just very mechanically sound, everything just looks really cool as well. When you are flying through the air, it just looks interesting. When you're falling, it looks good. Everything is just fun, and that kind of adds to that incentivizing exploration that I was talking about.
The game, actually, when I first played it, I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about here, but it reminded me of Jet Set Radio in a way. Do you understand what I mean? Because, obviously, it's not the same art style, but it gives me that vibe of, like, a lived-in city, and it looks cool, and there's, like, interesting things to do. Like, obviously, like, this is an adventure game, and Jet Set Radio is just more, you know, that stuff is just background while you paint on stuff. But it gives that, sort of city feeling that you don't often get very often from a video game. That's the best way I can say.
Well, and
also
just that fun traversal around that city.
Yeah, that's probably it too.
Yeah, we probably better stop because I'm going to get on one of my other trademarked Sunset Overdrive
Oh
rants
my
pretty
god.
quickly if we go down this road.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Even music and sound, and I'm usually not the guy that picks out music and sound is something that really makes an impact on me. It's very whimsical, and it especially strikes me as something that would have been done in the Super Nintendo era for an RPG or something. It's just got that kind of I don't know. You get a sound effect that just has that little like triller ring that has a just that extra. What's the word I'm looking for? That special feeling that makes you feel good inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just it hits a certain spot that's hard to explain, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's weird and it's quirky, but just in all the right ways. I do want to talk about the main character, Kat, quickly as well, and I think they really nailed it with her because she's very likable and she's kind of goofy, and silly and interesting, but she's also very capable. She's not a gets pushed around or like lacking in any skill or anything like that. Um,
Yeah, she is a good character. I generally enjoyed all the characters in this game. It had the right mix of like, you know how we were talking about Forspoken, and it was like, oh, this is like a little too jokey, like this was like the right amount of like humor plus like character driven like fun stuff. I don't know if that makes. I mean, it's probably again a shitty description, but they hit the right notes. It was the right tone.
It would be really hard to even talk about kind of the story and the character interactions because I've been playing this, within the last 24 hours, and I couldn't sit here and really verbalize anything that's happened in the story because it's very sporadic. It's very quirky. It's just something that you have to sit there and enjoy yourself. If you heard somebody repeat what's going on in that game, it would be senseless and foolish, but it just really does work. That's something else I thought is really apparent to me with this game is it doesn't overscope what it's trying to do. It's not like it's shallow or anything, but it doesn't try and do more than it needs to. It knows exactly what it should do. It does those things really well, and it doesn't shoehorn anything else in just for the purpose of having a video game that has extra features.
I think we can attribute that to Vita, right? Being a handheld game, you have to scale. You can't do everything you want, So even if you still feel that when you come to console, because it's just obviously you're just porting the same game, and it's just like, oh, this feels a little smaller in scope, but not in a bad way, not in a constraining way. Mm-hmm. So.
Even I don't know. Even for a handheld game, I just get the sense that Team Japan sat down. They said, "We know exactly what we want to do with this game." It was all mapped out on paper. They implemented it, and then they had the time to polish it rather than trying to like work through the kinks as they were developing it. That's kind of the sense I get.
Yeah, it was a very confident project, I guess, is the best way to say it.
This is, and it's not like this game is unknown by any stretch of the imagination, but I really do think that this is maybe one of the most underrated games that I've ever played. If anybody has looked at this and had even a passing interest before and was on the fence, I would say 100% this game is worth full price any day of the week.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Vita games, just like any handheld at the time, were $40 new at the time. I'm pretty sure that's what I paid for Gravity Rush for a handheld game. That's not something I'm always going to do. And when I saw that game, I'm like, this looks amazing. And it over delivered, actually. I was expecting great things from it. And I was just like, ooh, I wonder, okay, like back in the day when it was coming out, so did you just not pay attention? I know you didn't have a Vita, so were you just like, okay, whatever, or like, or did you ever think it looked cool? Do you remember it from back in the day, or no?
It wasn't on my radar back in, I guess, in the early 2010s when it came out. I definitely remember when the Blue Point remaster came out for PS4, and I was interested then. Again, I didn't pay it that much attention. I really have always had a sense that this is just not a Kevin game. I have a very, specific like set of things that I like. And I really thought this wasn't going to fit it. And it's absolutely a Kevin game.
All right. I guess before we get into something else, I don't know why I'm keeping it such a secret. Who cares? But whatever. I'm going to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5 real quick before we do this. I've been playing this game for a little bit now. I'm about 40 hours in as of this recording. Goddamn, I am involved. Like I am involved, guys. I'm involved. I'm here. This game is fantastic, but I really want to wait to break down this game until I beat it, or at least get really close. You know, so for now, I kind of want to talk about my experience a couple years ago with Shin Megami Tensei 4, only because I like 5 hours into 5, I completely changed my mind about 4. I'll explain. So like a couple years ago, this is during lockdown. It was like late March, early April 2020, right? So I'm like, I'll just play anything right now. I don't give a fuck. So DS, oh, okay, I have this. I could not get into 4 for the life of me. Shin Megami Tensei 4. I played for maybe 8 to 10 hours if I had to guess. I don't remember now. I kept trying, and I'm like, nothing about this game is working. And I thought it was me. I put all the blame on me. I was like, it's lockdown. Maybe I'm not in the mood for it. Maybe I'm just having bad luck because everyone knows how asshole-ish these games are, right? So, like, maybe I was just having bad RNG, bad luck, whatever. I just couldn't make any headway. It felt really ridiculously punishing, even for a Megaton game. I was like, this feels like too much, right? And I don't feel like slogging my way through this right now. And I tried. I remember talking about it with Steve at the time. I'm like, look, I don't know if this is just me, but I'm not feeling this, you know? And I forget what he said in response, but like, you know, unless you remember.
It was a different time when I played it because things like Street Pass meant we were involved in a bit of a community, and things like the play coins upon death didn't really mean so much. So,
well, I didn't even say what that is yet. Well, I guess if you played the game, you know. Yeah, there was like a weird death system where you had to like you died, and it's like here's some coins, but you're out of coins, so you can't. And it's like, well, you know, I'm stuck in my goddamn studio apartment. I can't go out and get any coins. I don't even know what you want me to do to get any. So like, this sucks. How about just give me a game over and let me reload my save? This is really dumb, right? Also, it's unlike the opposite of Gravity Rush, where we were just talking about it doesn't feel constrained by the handheld. Shin Megami Tensei 4 absolutely does. Like, that is a full-ass RPG, grown man RPG that is, like, crunched by this system. Like, the way the dungeons are laid out, the way... Look, the 3DS is limited, right? Much more limited than a Vita, right? If you try to do Gravity Rush on a Vita, good luck, the thing would melt, right? So it's like, you can only do so much on a 3DS, and boy, they showed it. Like, and you would think, like, okay, an RPG like that, it's not just graphics. It's like I said, it's really held back in scope. 5 has these like wide open deserts of Tokyo, right? You're running through these dilapidated buildings and just like all this stuff in front of you. Not that it's like an open world game or whatever, but you know what I mean? You have a lot to explore. You don't really feel that way in 4. Even if you do get to like a quote unquote open area, it doesn't feel that way. Also, the characters are just stiff. I like the characters in 5 immediately. 4, I just realized, wow, I actually don't like these people. So anyway, that's all I really have to say about 5 right now is that 4 sucks. It doesn't suck, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It instantly made me realize, like, wow, it wasn't me. It was actually 4 this whole time. I feel vindicated. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about that. I'll try to beat Shin Megami Tensei 5 by the next time I talk about it, which may be next episode or the episode after, but I would like to play the whole thing or close to it.
The look on Steve's face really looks like there's a well structured rebuttal about SMT4. Am I just
there
reading
isn't.
too much into that?
It was a game of the time. I enjoyed it at the time, and unless you rebuilt it for modern machines, I don't think I could play 4 and 4A again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, again, I'm done blaming myself for the past, basically.
All right, you got an excellent poker face, Steve, because I was sure that you had a little Andre Voodoo doll that you were just jabbing the eyes.
I
like
mean,
a
I
motherfucker.
have a funny story on why I played 4 twice, but if Andre actually plays 4 someday, I don't want to ruin it for him.
Well, if they can, like, they're gonna have to like remake it, which I don't think is gonna happen because, like, I can't imagine looking at those dungeons the way they're designed on like a modern TV with like real graphics. I mean, I think I would just be like, what? I'd rather go play one of them Kimco RPGs. It might look like have more budget than that.
Whoa! Let's not say things we can't take back.
Okay, come on. Are you telling me you wouldn't want to play As Divine Guardiorama 3 or something by Kimco?
You can't even name the game.
I know one of them's called As Divine. As Divine? Surely.
As something.
As Divine Hearts? As Divine Hearts. Wow. Wow, this cough drop's really working. I'm feeling a little peppy. How about that? Jeez. Your boy's back for like 20 minutes until it's.
I hope not too peppy. I'm hoping you just keep it quiet for this next part.
No, we can't keep it quiet, Kevin.
Sorry, Kevin. You brought this upon yourself.
Yeah, so last episode, I'll set the stage here. Last episode, Kevin was like, you guys got to play this game.
You promised.
You promised. And it's like, fine, I'll give it as much of a shot as I can. I don't think I'm going to like this, but I'll try.
I would also like to note that I wanted to like this game a lot.
Like, I'll say, okay, forget it. The game is Hollow Knight, everybody. Me and Steve played Hollow Knight. Wow. I don't know if played is I mean, do we want to consider it played? I mean, I didn't.
I think I got played.
Oh boy!
Whoa! I thought we were going down the like good cop, bad cop, and you were a good cop, Steve. Take it easy.
No, this is going to be bad cop, I guess, because like, man. Well, okay.
I gotta go for about 10 minutes. I have diarrhea. Hold on.
No, I want you to yell at us. Okay, I want you. You know what? In all seriousness, I like we're obviously gonna disagree here. I'm serious. I'm going to say stuff that I hated about the game that you liked, and I really want you to tell me why you liked it, because so many people love this game. I need someone like you to explain it to me. All
right, let's start with kind of control and moveset, because I think that's where this is where we're gonna butt heads the most. So let's get it out of the way.
Okay,
Can I say something? Can I say something about moveset?
Go ahead.
A cheap little bit of what I've been playing. I played Super Metroid a little bit before our last recording and this recording, because it was the game of the month where they give you platinum coins, and I figured, I'm already in here, let's just play the game. I didn't do everything, of course. A healthy 70-ish% of the items found are everything. So imagine my surprise when I'm logging into Hollow Knight, this critically lauded search action game, and the first two things I find for the titular, well, no, I guess he's not really titular, our character knight guy, are the wall jump and the air dash. And then later on we get the ground slam, and I feel like for a knight character he doesn't do a very, very good deal of knighty things, especially since he has a little toothpick for a weapon.
So let me take over here, okay?
Please.
Because this is wow, this is something that's important to me. Right. So like, if the weapon in Hollow Knight is functional. It's not fun. It's functional. It exists. It's like picking up a stick at the beginning of Breath of the Wild or something, right? Because, like, look, think about action-adventure games of lore. The Disc Armor and Raga, or the Strider Cypher. Like, okay, yeah, that's an arcade game, but there's Strider 2014, right? Which you should absolutely play, Steve. That game is incredible.
I bought it. It's on.
A Castlevania whip. Samus's various beams. the weapon in these kind an action adventure needs to be something I can be like, okay, I can like I feel good about. I don't feel good about that toothpick.
But you guys aren't both just still at the point where you're like just using like base like shitty sword, right?
I mean,
I've
go
upgraded
ahead.
mine twice, and it doesn't go any. It doesn't really do anything else other than take less time to kill things.
Like, okay, look, I'm not saying that it needs to be like Strider Cypher, like the shing shing shing. Okay, I'm not saying I was expecting that. At the same time, I gotta feel good about this. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know, man. It just feels really iffy. Here's one thing. And this leads into like kind of what you were saying too, the power-ups, like the things you can equip for take like 1, 2, or 3 slots. I don't remember what they're called. They don't make me feel very good. There was one that said like long nail, right? Oh, you can extend your reach. I put it on. I didn't notice anything. I took it off. I didn't notice anything. Was it that minuscule, or I'm just not seeing it or something? There was also one that I had where it's like, while you're gathering soul, you'll have like a shield around you. That shield didn't really seem to work, unless it only works on like very specific things. Yeah, I'm like, am I missing something here? You know, so like I don't know, like the power ups did not feel powering at all. That was kind of a big gripe for me.
Not to mention how we lose a slot just to have a compass.
Oh you know God. What? I saw that in the notes, and I thought that is definitely the most valid criticism for me in these notes. That I 100% agree. That's shitty.
Listen, we've been having maps in these games since '94, and okay, you want to make me earn my map or whatever? Sure, whatever. Why do I gotta go find the fat ass cartographer in every new area? Why isn't this his event? He's always in these inopportune places, and it feels like he should be this guy going on the adventure, and not Mr. Toothpick here, because he's not just going on the spelunking in these caves. He's thriving. He's humming that little song, scribbling down those maps. Oh hi, my hot bug wife's waiting for me at the top. But would you like to buy a map of what I made so far?
I like how he turned him into a Bug Snacks character without actually playing the game yet. Oh boy,
that guy did marry up for sure.
Yeah. Oh god. Look. I also here's one thing. Just talking about maps and just exploration. The exploration, like in these games, I really need like your character needs to feel to progress somehow. Not even necessarily level up. I don't even necessarily mean that, but it needs to feel like progression. Like in whether it's Samus, you find missiles and energy tanks or whatever, or you find, you're not like leveling up, you're not like stronger, but you do have more equipment. In Castlevania, you're literally changing your stats. You get an HP up, an MP up, a life up, whatever. I mean, look, if I spelunk around on Hollow Knight, I might find a worm in a cage, and then I break it, and then it goes away. Okay, I guess. Did you find any worms, Steve? I mean, did that make you feel?
Oh yeah, and they did give me money for that when I visited the worm pit, but it's like at the beginning. But how am I supposed to know? There's just another goofy old man, pervert old worm man sitting at the beginning, and then we're just supposed to insinuate that's what that is, where we're supposed to go back.
I didn't expect you to dislike this game more than me. This is amazing.
I don't know if it's more than you, but what I don't like is how I actually started liking this game, Kevin. Like, okay, it's moody, we're going in the ground, and I did like the weapon at first because of the way we were recharging soul, and you can use the soul to recharge your health. I like this, but then that stopped being helpful. And then, like Andre was saying, I kept going off on these crazy side paths, only to find a piece of a heart tank, and that was something I bitched about in Metroid Dread time. So if I'm going to bitch about it there, I'm certainly going to bitch about it here.
Yeah, pieces of heart are a disease. That is the worst contribution from Link to the Past to the greater game. I've said that. I don't even know if I said this on Popular Gaming Opinion before. Pieces of heart are fucking crap.
And I don't mind them in Zelda, but come on,
No.
you're these games are already on a smaller whatever. Give me the whole thing.
Remember
on the other side
when-
of this, on the other side of these bottomless chasms, which shouldn't be here. For fuck's sake.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about more about Pieces of Heart, but no, go on with the chasms.
Kevin, why are there bottomless pits in my search action game?
Can we just say action adventure, please? Can we say action adventure? Why did they become search action?
Because otherwise we'd have to say the other thing.
No, we can say action adventure like we've been saying for 40 years. We can
You've
say that.
been saying for 40 years.
No, you know what won best action adventure at the Game Awards? Metroid Dread. Okay, best action adventure game. We still say it. All right,
we're gonna have to save this whole Metroidvania term conversation for another day, because I think we've got like 20 minutes of debate here. I don't get the like.
Look, it must be regional. That's all I'm saying. Kevin, we wouldn't be having this argument at all if Hollow Knight was the game you promised us it was. I'm just saying.
I don't. Can I say this though? I really don't actually hate this game. I don't. I genuinely do not. It's not for me, and I knew it wasn't going to be for me. That's why I never played it. And I played it, and it's not for me. You know, you really got into the aesthetic, right? Like the beginning, it's like it drew you in. That's the whole reason why I didn't want to play it. That is not an art style I like at all. Muted and drab colors and muted and drab music, like twinkly piano that's like sad and lonely, that makes for a muted and drab me. Basically, like that is just not an aesthetic I care for, and that is obviously a completely personal choice. That is not the fault of the game or whatever. I'm just saying, like that's most of the reason why I've never tried it. I'm like, I always looked at him like, no, thank you.
Andre, as a depressed person, I'm very offended, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer.
I mean,
you talk to me. Am I drab and muted?
Yes. But that's why you're on the show, so I can draw the other things out of you. This is not a drab and muted show, baby. Is it? Is this a drab and muted show?
Now it is. I feel drab and muted.
Oh my god!
And muted me. I don't know. You know what? Okay, I am surprised. I really did think that there would have been a better reception as far as kind of the tone and aesthetic of the game. If not, that's fine. I really did think that you guys were going to, because especially you, Andre, you do have this aversion to indie games. And for the most part, I agree with it. I don't play a lot of indie games either, because I do a lot of times find exactly what you've said, is that they don't do as good of a job as what something more mainstream or something that had already done that idea as well. I
Yes.
do feel like this is 100% an exception to that rule, and I did think that you would have said that. I'm surprised that isn't the case. Both of you, what honestly does, I think, when we talk back to the control and the move set, for me, that's my favorite thing about this game. I don't think this is getting into spoiler territory. A ways down the road
anymore.
So that there's like, you know, this Coliseum thing, right? So it's not a boss rush thing. There's tons of different enemies. It's hard as fuck. This is a hard game, and you know, you're doing that Coliseum, you know, for spurts of like 15 minutes at a time, and you can die at 14 minutes and still not feel like it's never bullshit, because the control is just that good in that. And I don't know, I'm surprised you guys don't like that moveset either. Like, everything just feels so good. You have the air dash. It just feels so incredibly tight that they can make insanely complex environments and insanely difficult enemies, and it's never bullshit, because it just works like so flawlessly.
What you said is true. I can't dispute any of that. However, it really isn't the movement for me so much as the weapon. Again, and that
it's the
matters
only one
to me.
you have.
That matters to me so much in a way that I don't know, man. I can't do the little chop toothpick. I'm sorry, like that kind of kills it for me. But here's the thing, I'm really consistent on this. Like, as Steve knows, I don't like the Gunvolt games, those Inti creates, the fake like Mega Man Zero. The main reason being why is because of Gunvolt's weapon. It's a shitty little like a little, like he's shooting a staple gun at these enemies, and then like he tags them, and then they're tagged, and then you can do like an electric attack to them. I hate it. Like, I think that sucks. That's not cool. I want like a good gun. I don't want my gun to be like a little pea shooter for me for as a means to do something else. It's just a mechanic I don't like. The gun should be good. The gun should feel good. It doesn't feel good in Gunvolt. It's just one of those things in Hollow Knight I'm not going to get around. Now, like if the rest of the game, like maybe it had like a really great aesthetic, I enjoy it or something, or like other things going for it, I could have probably gotten over the weapon, but as it stands, not really. So, but I agree with everything you said about the dashing, the movement, like all that's great because it makes like boss battles more invigorating than they would be in like other types of games where it's like, Castlevania games are great, but it's like you go up and whip it a bunch and then like, you know what I mean? Some of them have good patterns, but you know what I mean? They don't really try to challenge you there, especially if it's like Harmony of Dissonance or something. So like, it's not a total loss. Again, I don't hate Hollow Knight. It's just not for me.
Oh, listen, I'll compensate. Okay, movement is fine after we get the things we should have had at the beginning of the game. But, you want to know where I gave up, Kevin? There's that big room with these Guardian Knight guys, and they come alive one or two at a time, and it's still you and the toothpick. So I gotta shove him. I gotta, like, go right up into this guy's face and just keep nudging the thing to death until these guys get up. None of these guys really have good tells, unfortunately, like at all. Like even the other bosses, they might have one or two. They'll have a tell or two, but then they'll also have other moves where they just say "fuck you." There goes your heart, and then.
And it probably takes about a minute and a half from the most recent bench to get back up to them. Is that?
Yes, he's talking about those because I was there too because we talked about it amongst each other. It's like, I don't know, man. I really don't. It's like, okay, I guess
they get up, they roll, and they're invulnerable half the time. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do against that? You want to talk about pathetic? I think I had more defenses in Resident Evil 7.
No, you don't have any defenses in Resident Evil 7, especially if I wish I had a toothpick in that game. Going back to you were saying nothing is bullshit, Kevin. I do think a few things are bullshit. I don't think the bosses are, but like there is sometimes when you're traversing around and stuff just happens to you. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I remember I was doing the garden area and then all of a sudden this big thing just came out. Whoosh, it was like full of leaves and just hit me. It's like, I didn't really have time to react to that. Sometimes there was like a Venus flytrap thing. You can't see it. It's on the floor. You don't know that you're not supposed to stand there until it goes snap and there goes your heart. Sometimes like a stalactite or something would fall on me. It's like you can't really see the thing. I'm not saying they need to be like glowing like they're in Super Mario World or something, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like some of those things could have been like much more well telegraphed. And it's not a big deal because it's not a boss or something. And it's just one heart. You can recover easy. You can chop a few enemies. So I didn't think it was game breaking or anything. But a few things were kind of bullshitty, but not in a game breaking way. They were a tad bullshitty though.
Well, I'm not going back to this. Are you going back to this, Andre?
I mean, I think I actually will. I'm going to beat... It's going to be a while, though. It's going to be a few months. I'm going to beat Shin Megami Tensei 5 first. I have vacation coming up. I'm going to be doing some other stuff. Maybe when I get back from that, I'll give this another shot. I do actually want to beat this game. I was going to try to do it in time for this show, but night after night, I played it like 3-4 nights in a row, and I was just like, I don't want to right now. I don't. Like, so I really tried. Just know that I really tried.
I believe you. I think you both really tried. And you know what? I'm honestly surprised. I did not think this was going to be the way that this went. And, I'll also say I really never like push games on people or movies or any of that kind of shit because I hate it when people do that to me. And it's especially a game, that's a big time commitment for somebody to be like, you got to play this. But I really felt confidently enough that you guys were going to like this. I'm really surprised it didn't go that way, and I hate both of you.
So do you want to play Senran Kagura Estivis or Peach Beach Splash maybe or
Well, okay, for one, I think you gotta pick something on the Switch that my wife isn't going to like completely lose respect for.
Yeah, we gotta throw Kevin a bone with that one.
I think Galgun 2 is on Switch. Galga?
It is.
I think so.
It is. I can tell you for a fact it is.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I made it so saucy as like, oh, what a pervert, as if I'm not the one who has Galgun already. All right. Well, you know what? No, I don't mind. If in the future you want me to play, I'm not going to speak for Steve, but if you want me to play any game like that for, I don't know, just for entertainment on the show, let me at it. As long as it's not like, Dragon Quest 11, I have to spend like 120 hours on something I hate or something, right? Like, I don't know. I'm game. I think that's fine. We should get each other out of our comfort zones more. Like if I think of an Arcade Archives game or something, some shmup that comes out you've never heard of, Kev, it's like I really want you to play this and see what you think, or something like that. I think we should probably do that more often. I think that's fun. So
absolutely,
we need a little voting system.
Yeah. If only people listen to this. Oh man.
Well, I think to recreate the Everybody Votes channel on Twitter.
I'm gonna on Mastodon or Telegram or whatever we go to next after Elon Musk blows up the planet. I'm gonna go drown my sorrows in Dayquil. We'll be right back. All right, guys. I had a whole couple bottles of NyQuil. I feel good now. Maybe. How are you supposed to take that much? I don't know. I didn't really read the back, but
probably not.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm just kidding, kids. Don't take that much NyQuil. Actually, or Dayquil either. Actually, if you're a kid, don't be listening to this either. Your parents are you shouldn't listen to this filthy language.
Bananas.
So, all right, it's time for big question. Steve, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so you guys know me. I've been enjoying my Switch since 2017.
No,
but it's hard to look at the strange delays that happen. Metroid Prime 4 got announced at E3 with that title splash, whatever they made it in the night, and they're like, it's coming eventually, and then they had to start that over publicly. And then, Bayonetta, it looks like 3 looks like that's finally coming this year after being announced. And then, but more notably, the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we still don't have a real name for it, was supposed to come out this year, but it's coming out spring 2023 now.
Wouldn't it be silly if they've been carrying that on the whole time and it's just actually going to be called Breath of the Wild 2? Like,
that would be silly.
I would be so mad. So you can imagine me and everyone else's surprise when Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got pushed up from a September release to July 29th.
Yeah, that was a shocker. I was like, yo, okay. Interesting. It makes me obviously, but where everyone's mind goes, it makes you think something else got canceled, right?
Well, we know that Advance Wars is still up in the air for now with world conflict. I'm sure something had to be shimmied around because a few days later, Splatoon 3 finally got its release date for September. Although I think it's very unfortunate timing because the Live Alive remake has to come out a week before Xenoblade 3, and I think that's a little unfair.
That's a weird one. We've talked about this before, even probably on this iteration of this show, but like, I still think it's one of the strangest decisions of all time that they made Fire Emblem Warriors come out a week before Super Mario Odyssey. That was so weird. Like, and I mean, I thought it was weird at the time, but Nintendo, everybody.
So, is there anything sinister going on, do we think, or?
The prevalent thought seems to be that Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade 3 switch dates. Like, Splatoon 3 was supposed to be summer or something like this date, and then like Xenoblade September, and then they swapped to give Splatoon 3 more time in the oven. Which, I guess, but I feel like Splatoon 3 is probably just as done as Xenoblade 3, as it's just a matter of releasing it. Nintendo doesn't usually, like, get out in front with, like, oh, this is a thing, and it has a name, and it has a... Remember, they wouldn't even commit to a title to, like, Yoshi's Crafted World for, like, a year and a half. It was just called Yoshi. Like, unless they're sure, right? So, I don't know. I know Kevin's going to get both of these day one. He can't wait, but...
For a more fun question, can we name other times where things got pushed ahead instead of pushed? Because I feel like my whole life it's been like we'd get a game announced, and then we'd get a magazine a few months later, and we have to push the date back to winter.
I mean, we won't know this for sure because the Rona, but like I still maintain Paper Mario the Origami King was supposed to be like October 2020 or something like that. Do you guys feel that way? I don't know. That always seemed like the case to me, especially since during that year and a half, Nintendo was only announcing games like 2 months before they're coming out because they were sure this is coming out. There wasn't going to be any like Rona shenanigans, right? That's why we heard about that shit 2 months before it came out. I don't know what other games did that. There was other stuff I just can't remember right now. Game Builder Garage, maybe? I don't know. Like they announced stuff and then like 6 to 8 weeks later it was happening. Almost like an album, practically.
Remember Clubhouse Games was very sudden. It was in the Rona Direct, but it was just eerie timing. They were like, hey, you guys are going to be locked inside forever, right? Here's some chess to play with your friends who are also locked inside.
Not a single one of you fucking pricks has played backgammon with me.
I played backgammon with you.
No, you fucking didn't. You played it with and then I didn't play it with you at all. We have never played backgammon.
Tune in next show for when we go over Clubhouse Games backgammon.
I don't know how to play backgammon, so I'm absolving myself from this.
It's fun. It's easy to pick up. I promise. I'm not just saying. I know everyone says everything's easy
How easy are we
to
talking?
Pick up. It's I don't know. There's some dice, and you move kind of checkers around a board. It's really not that bad. I promise.
What was Steve? You and I played one. I think that you tried to teach me. It was where you like move the like colored stones between like around the. Or was that me and you, Andre? One of you guys played that with me.
I think it was you and Steve. Yeah, it was you and Steve.
Because somebody told me that was easy, and it was bullshit. I didn't know what was going on the whole time.
You pick up rocks and you push them around a board. What's
yeah, well, if you want to go to a parking lot sometime, we can play with gravel. This was not just pushing rocks around.
Kevin with his hot takes on a 3,000-year-old game.
Yeah, this is a game that's been around for centuries.
I'm just saying it wasn't as easy as you're making it out to be.
Look, if I was trying to teach how to play Othello or something, people say that's easy. It's fucking not.
No, it's not.
It is not. This honestly, backgammon is easy. Now, I'm not saying like the strategy is necessarily easy. That comes with playing, but like the rules are easy anyway.
All right, one of these days when our schedules line up, you can try and teach me how to play backgammon.
Yes, I would really like to. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like this is. You would like to think that they would want Splatoon 3 out for the summer, just like 5 years ago, even though Kevin thinks this is too soon for a sequel. 5 years ago, when Splatoon 2 came out, it was also summer. It just seems like a summer game, right? But I guess whatever.
Seems like a summer game that would be appropriate for Super Switch.
You guys, if you don't... Oh my god, please. I really don't want it to be called that. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm already dead inside. Cold and dead inside.
The Switch TV game.
Color TV game. I get. Look, Steve's been harping on me to finish Xenoblade 2. I haven't even started. So like, I guess I will now because goddamn, right? Here we are. I thought I had all summer. No, I don't.
You have half the summer.
Nah, barely.
Although it does get a bit
Anyway,
involved, and I highly recommend the DLC Torn of the Golden Country.
Torneco, the Golden Country.
Yeah, Torneco, the Golden Country.
Uh, get Kevin's just looking at us like I don't even. Let's move on. Next one, Steve.
Hey guys, it's been a month or so since we talked about Amico shit, so let's just reacquaint ourselves with what's happened since last time.
Yes, catch us up. Last time on Amico.
Last time on Amico, there was a fundraising initiative that really didn't go anywhere. And right after this fundraising initiative didn't go anywhere, long-standing investors started to want their money back. A lot of them are not getting their money back. Sometime after this, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this unboxing video, with the comments locked, of course, that pops up on YouTube that nobody was falling for. The cardboard was made out of the flimsy paper. There was American components in what was labeled as a Peggy box. Games were already installed on this quote unquote fresh out of the box Amico. That took just seconds to load. There was no initializing, please enter your name or anything like make an account, blah, blah, blah. They didn't even like show that screen to like skip over later. No, it just went straight into a thing that already exists.
This is so... It reminds me of like a Mad Keeper movie from the 80s or early 90s or something like that, where it's just like, well, this is our get rich quick scheme or something. It's just so obviously fucking not real. I just cannot believe they tried this. Like, you can get away with this at like CES 1992, or you know what I mean, when like there's not a whole lot of cameras around and there's no internet, right? But like, come on.
I wasn't going to fault them for using a Peggy console, given that there was a lot of European investment, but they're taking American components out. This isn't a ready-to-go retail box that's going to come out before the end of June 2022, where I have $400 imaginary dollars on the line for them to give up on this outright.
It's just unbelievable.
It gets more unbelievable. You know why? Because GameStop, like I guess it's been a few weeks now, accidentally charged however many people that pre-ordered the console back when it was supposed to come out 2 years ago for machines that did not exist. So, okay, they looked at it fairly quickly. Everyone got their refund, and it's delisted from the site. It's still on the website, but you can't order an Amico from GameStop right now.
So what was the like, why did GameStop start charging people for this? What made them, do you know what made them think that it was coming out?
Probably something in the computer that said it was coming out that day.
They probably never updated from like the last, like, I don't know, like a date from like a year and a half ago or something. It's coming, April 22 or something.
I hope it just wasn't some guy sitting there on YouTube that watched this video of them coming out and opening the inner pocket of their trench coat to pull out the Amico.
I don't know.
So
that would be good.
The GameStop orders are canceled, and you can't buy it off of their site anymore, which leads into the Amico has gone through a second repricing structure. You might remember at the way beginning when it was this $150 to $180 system, and that's gone up another $100 since then. But now, if you have the thing reserved already, or you can present a receipt from GameStop or Walmart or whoever else that canceled your order, you're grandfathered in at the current rate. But if you want to get one now, they will sell you They will sell you either a purple or a wood grain colored Amico console with one controller for $289.99, or with two for $339.99.
Can you imagine for 1 second paying more for an Amico than you did your Nintendo Switch. Can you imagine? Can you put that in your head, Steve?
You mean the machine that, even though they're a little dinky, did come with 2 controllers that were fun to pass around sometimes? No, I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's just at every turn, this is just
and I know it's become a bit of a meme, but Nintendo Switch has games.
They sure do.
Unlike these bad demonstrations of Cornhole that like to pop up sometime as their killer app.
The one Amico quote unquote game I kept seeing looked like Gianna Sisters or something. It looked like really like low rent, like I don't know what it was, like something that would be like an early 90s Amiga game or something, like Zool or like I don't know. It was just like, what is this? I'm going to pay top dollar for this?
Is there any reason for this price increase? Like it's incredibly transparent that nobody is going to be interested in it at this price. Like, is there any business reason where they say, okay, now we have this much larger capability to make money if this happens to sell 100,000 units, kind of thing?
They keep pointing at inflation, and that's bullshit because all these parts are things that are less powerful than what's in my smartphone right now. I think it was some kind of Snapdragon chip that they got on the cheap in 2014. So, and it's other off the shelf parts that are putting this thing together for the most part too. So I think this is some sort of desperate cash grab because the wood grain was exclusive on their plastic was exclusive on their site, and the purple version was exclusive to GameStop until they pulled it off their site. And now these are the only versions you can get. There was a slightly cheaper white and black color console, which is no longer available to you. If you, Kevin or Andre, suddenly said, I need an Amico, but I don't want to pay all that money.
As a goof, I mean, like, I would love to do it for content, but I'm not paying more. I'm not paying that much money. Like, I had no idea it was that much. That's crazy.
And speaking of garbage content, I did forget to put in my notes, but this did happen the other day. They had I'd say famous, but not really, where they said, oh yeah, remember that Earthworm Jim game we had a few years ago? Well, here it is, but it was really just like really okay looking art of Earthworm Jim against a DeviantArt background of some kind. That I mean, it looked nice, but it's obviously not the game in any sense of the imagination. So they took that down. I'm assuming whoever's sitting on Earthworm Jim right now said, okay, take that shit down, because there is that cartoon coming, which has nothing to do with TenApple or anybody else that was on staff, and they've gone to great lengths to say, okay, we have the IP, but nobody on board is on this project that was ever on board is on with this project. And it's clear you're not making this game, so take this shit down.
Okay. Big question. What's the bigger scam, Amico or NFTs? Kevin.
Well, come on. It's at NFTs, but I feel like just I feel like the Amico is NFT in physical form.
I feel like at least with NFTs, if you like sold it next week, you can walk away with something. With this,
yeah, I was going to say at least NFTs seem to be worth something. See, that's why I might go NFTs. You might be able to sell it for real money. Not real money; it's still funny money, but like, whatever Ethereum or whatever is, right? But are we going to get flagged by bots because I said the E word? Maybe I should bleep that out.
So I guess my other big question is, how much longer can they keep this up?
The fact we thought they were going to collapse with this a couple months ago, like the fact that this is still going on and they're pulling the like, here's the console and like fooling nobody, and here's a video game, here's the Earthworm Jim game, DeviantArt drawing, and it's so transparent, it's so obvious they don't have a thing. It's just I don't know. I'm surprised it went this long.
Look, I'm sorry about the DeviantArt comment. I would have given it a thumbs up if it was on DeviantArt, but it's clearly not. It's clearly not a video game.
DeviantArt could do better than whatever that was, for sure.
I'm sorry. That was obviously not Earthworm Jim 4. You weren't fooling me or anyone else.
Kevin, do you see? I mean, like, we both thought this would collapse, like, in January when we first talked about it. Like, I cannot believe they're still doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point it's going to take legal action for them to actually stop.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure we'll get back to that sometime because that saga is ongoing and hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, I want to talk about something that just literally made me laugh out loud. Y'all see that Sonic Origins chart of DLC?
Why do I need a chart to buy a bunch of old Sonic games?
Do y'all see that? This is just incredible. They did the Ubisoft chart for Sonic Origins. They did like the Anthem. What was the Anthem is the funniest, right? That's the king when you can play Anthem. You guys remember that one? Yeah. That's still the funniest one to me. I don't know. The Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, that was pretty good. But like, guys, like after like I know we were just talking about like corporate bullshit, but like what goes through the suits' heads? How does this get out the door? Is anyone allowed at Sega to say, "Hey guys, this is not a good idea"? Like, I just don't know how these keep happening. If anyone doesn't know, just in case, Sega announced something called Sonic Origins. It's Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and like Sonic CD, one package, 16x9, $40, whatever, like a whole big deluxe package, redone stuff, right? Primo content, primo retro content. But they released a chart like, here's all the stuff you can get from pre-ordering or buying the regular one or buying the digital deluxe or buying God knows what else.
And I think this chart is worth a look yourself if you're listening to this, because it's very nonsensical to me. The digital deluxe edition, okay, it's got the main game. We got the hard missions, yes. Mirror mode, nah, no mirror mode. Like what decisions made into what was getting into
buy
these?
The DLC to get the mirror mode. That's ridiculous.
They've got 5 columns on here.
Yeah. And 2 of them are like just other DLC. Okay, let me fucking ask you guys, what the hell is additional music tracks from Mega Drive / Genesis titles? What does that mean? Okay, are they going to remove music from the game and you got to have the whole soundtrack? You got to buy the DLC. What even is that?
It means we can have the rest of the Mega Drive sound catalog from Ristar to Shining Force 2, as interpreted by these new guys.
What are 100 bonus coins? That is a DLC pre-order. What are bonus coins? Sonic has rings, right? Did something change?
I was going to say that myself. What's bonus coins?
What is that?
No one proofread this.
But they want us to take these leaps of faith on this content that we have no idea what it is. Like, look, I'm not saying that we need to know everything that's in a season pass to like make it or whatever, right? But like for Sonic, like old Sonic games, like you can't. What is this, man? Also, okay, here's basically what I want to say about this. $40 for all this stuff is really reasonable, in my opinion. I think that's a good compilation, especially since they're doing all of these from the ground up to the nines, widescreen support, like the whole bit, right? Like you're getting the ultimate Sonic retro experiences. Fine. I think $40 is fair for all that. They didn't need to nickel and dime us like this. This just feels so fucking scummy, right down to camera controls over the main menu islands. Yes, that is a pre-order or DLC item. Camera controls, guys. That is so wild. You didn't need to do this. Just put all of this on a $40 package and call it a day. I don't get it. Were they afraid people will be like, no, that's too much? It doesn't matter if it's too much. They're going to buy it. It doesn't matter if they bitch. They're going to buy it. Like, they made something scummy that they didn't need to, that everyone was going to buy anyway. It's weird. It's just really weird.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably gonna buy it for $20 down the line, but as it is now with tears and bullshit, I can't.
You're
Yeah,
not going to
well,
get those nice camera controls with $20 though, Steve.
yeah,
as
you better pony
as
up.
I've been pointing out in our chats, there's already 3 ways to play Sonic 2 on my Switch right now. I'm not in a big hurry for method number 4.
I don't know why you keep making this about Sonic 2. Like,
Because it's everywhere.
It's like specifically Sonic 2.
Because Kevin's been bitching about 2 releases of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker over the past decade. You want to know how many times they released Sonic and Sonic 2 in that time?
I mean, way too many, but I also haven't played them. I guess the last time I quote-unquote bought one was Genesis Mini, like a couple years ago, but I haven't played on there either.
But I think 1 per system is a good number.
I mean, the fact that we can even discuss this, like that many re-releases is crazy. Well, I mean, I guess Steve sort of half answered, like, but are you guys even yet another Sonic collection? We're here again. We're doing this again. Yes, I know, like they're doing them to the absolute maximum possible tip top they can do these, but again with these games, again, guys,
$20.
do you even give a shit?
$20. It's very
I
hard
don't
for
know
me to give a shit otherwise.
what you keep talking about, like they're doing these to the absolute tip top, like of their potential, but like how much do these games really demand that? I don't feel like I would be losing anything playing Sonic 2 on Nintendo Switch Online.
You wouldn't be. These are for people who really want that ultra primo experience, which is fine. I don't know, man. So, like, I guess, look, they're not making this for no reason, right? As many times as they repackage these, I'm trying to stay away from my. We have unpopular gaming opinions coming up in the next break, after the next break, and it's Sonic related, and I was sort of inspired, not necessarily by this chart, but maybe you guys can guess. Don't literally guess. Don't ruin it. But maybe it has something to do with the classic Sonic games. I'll just put it that way. So let your mind wander free. All right, Kevin. So you're next.
Yeah, there was a nice 4chan thread last week, as there always is. There was 2 leaked emulators, Sloop and Hiroko, that the original poster indicated as being official in-house development versions of Game Boy Color and Advance emulators for Nintendo Switch Online, which have not been announced or released. There was some data mining that found these comment logs supposedly from the Nintendo Europe R&D division, nerd for short, that an employee had allegedly left in there, and they had previously worked on the existing Nintendo Switch Online apps as well as emulation for the Super Mario All-Stars version of Sunshine. So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of interesting evidence that these are legitimate, but then there's also, like, there was some reference to like EverDrive cartridges and stuff in there. Do you guys think these are legit, or is this a little too sketchy for your tastes?
I think this is legit. I think this is legit work being done on like a Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online or something like that. I don't necessarily think that's going to materialize as such. Nintendo R&D is all sorts of stuff that we never see, right? This could be yet another one of those things. So while I believe this is a legit thing that has been worked on, I don't necessarily think that's imminent for like a, release.
If we were doing our bet segment, I'd be betting very hard on the original Game Boy Color app coming first, or at least, or the 2 of them coming together with the Advance being on the premium side. I think this is just what we got to see. Everyone's saying this is further along. No, this is what leaked.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I think this is real work. It's just, especially when we look at the list of games, like, this is wild. Like, almost every Treasure game is here. We even have, like, Astro Boy, you know what I mean? Like, licensed stuff. It's kind of wild. I thought it was funny that they only specifically had Mega Man 03. Yeah, it's the best one, but, like, come on. I don't know. The list of games that leaked is really funny.
Mega Man Battle Network 5 and 2, not 1, 3, or 4. Or
Yeah,
2. Yeah, no, 2.
that's a strange one. Mario Tennis Power Tour. That's a game that's great.
It is.
Come on. I don't know. I looking at this list, it almost kind of wetted my whistle for such a service, just because, like, you guys know me, I'm always not down on a Game Boy Advance. I'm like, how much really is there? There's so many SNES ports, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of showing me otherwise. Like, I kind of, like, yeah, you have your, like, Super Mario Advance 3, Yoshi Island and stuff, which is, like, fucking useless, especially since Yoshi's Island is already on Nintendo Switch Online proper. So, like, why would I want that?
Well,
But, like, other than that, it's like,
Curran made it on the Wii U Virtual Console on the GBA line, and I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun with that.
That's cool. Okay, I didn't know that ever came here in any form. That's cool.
Yeah, that was the only one we ever got, and I'd like to play it in a better version because, unfortunately, even despite M2's best efforts, GBA on Wii U wasn't fantastic. I'm sure it was one of those scenarios like, look, we can make this great. We can make these pixel perfect conversions for just slap it together. Everyone will love it.
I would buy this being more legit if there was, like, the usual array of Konami games, because they're a slut for any of these services, right? Like, their games are all over them. So, like, there's no Castlevania, there's no, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything, right? So, well, not that they necessarily have the rights to always publish those, but,
I thought 2 of the Castlevanias did make it.
I don't see it on this list. Oh, I do. Never mind. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm going to leave that in the show because I want everyone to know how dumb I am. Anyway, but, like, I don't know. You would think there'd be, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't buy that these are the games we're getting on such a service. I think these are just tests, whatever. All right, so last Monday, something really interesting leaked from Sega. By the way, Sonic Origins leaked from Sega from, like, again, the Korean ratings board. The Korean ratings board is, like, killing it right now. Yeah, they're killing it right now with the leaks. It used to always be always be a different rating board, but right now it's Korea. So anyway, something else leaked from Sega recently was that they're going to reboot, or at least the plan is to reboot Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, but not quite in the way that we might want. So I'm going to read directly from the article here so you can have some context. Sega's Super Game Initiative, which the company announced a year ago as an effort to develop recurring revenue sources and build online communities around its software portfolio. Fortnite has become the model for such games. Free to play, it's available across all platforms, hosts large multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. And of course, what's most important to them, spurring player purchases of in-game items. So, anyone who thought this was just going to be your, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster or something, clearly that's not what they want here. They want to leverage these IP to shill to us some sort of live service thing. I mean, they sound like mobile game descriptions, practically. So, like, I guess my question to you guys is, I appreciate the honesty up front, but, like, this basically means they won't be, like, real games, right? Just kind of money pits. Like, does this, like, completely dampen your enthusiasm here? It kind of does for me.
I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought there was some fun angle they can do with Crazy Taxi, like, but I'm sure I've mentioned on here, I play Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, and there's fun shit you can do without ever and unlock by doing tasks and whatever, like in Fortnite, that without ever spending any money. And I think there's a way you can do that in Crazy Taxi too, but I don't know if they'll actually take that route or really just go extra scummy with it.
It's tough, right? Because, like, it feels, for Jet Set Radio, this feels kind of wrong. For Crazy Taxi,
I don't know how you could do that with Jet Set Radio.
Me either. But Crazy Taxi, maybe. I don't know, Kevin. Is this like are these even like games you've ever cared? I mean, like you like Crazy Taxi, right?
Yeah, I like Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. When I first heard this, I didn't realize there was all this marketing speak behind it. And I mentioned to you guys, I don't think like Crazy Taxi, you know, fun game. I don't think there's a whole lot you can do with it. Now that we put it into this term, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Jet Set Radio, I think they could have done something really cool with. I don't think it fits this model as semi vague as it is. But as far as personal interest, as soon as we say Fortnite has become the role model for anything, I'm just immediately tuning out for the rest of the blah 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 live service, microtransactions, player internet. What I don't give a fuck. I like it's not. I just know it's not for me. Some people like that. I don't.
I don't mind the live service stuff. I mean, that's probably the most money. Boy, that was a weird Freudian slip. That was the word. That's the most time I put into video games on PS4, whether it's Destiny or Division or Overwatch or whatever. I can, you know what I mean? I can get into that kind of stuff. But like Crazy Taxi. How do you do
I think
that,
there is really two I don't want it to come off like I'm shitting on live service stuff, because it's again, that's not really my thing, but I see the appeal there. I think there's two very different brands of live service stuff, and this is not in that Destiny Division brand that we're talking about. This is in the please give us money 13 times a day brand.
Chocobo GP kind of like
yeah.
Have you, I mean, we haven't really talked about that game on the show, but we could, because like Jesus Christ. Like what's going on with that game is insane. Did you, just as an aside, did you guys play Chocobo GP? Or like I tried
I didn't.
I tried the free trial and it was like, it's not a bad playing game. It's just like, oh man, talk about assaulting. If I bought this game for $40 as it is retail and it would assaulted me with all the battle pass and all the crazy shit, I probably would have legitimately lost my mind. It's just unbelievable.
The way I understand it, there's still a lot of paid shit to do in the paid version, so I really don't know if that would be the solution, to just buy the game outright.
Anyway, but like, so second part of this, there was like a financial sheet about, I don't know, some time ago, and they had other IP listed in this financial sheet of what they could do with this sort of new live service model. Other things in here listed are Rez, Panzer Dragoon, Knights, Shinobi is in here. Streets of Rage is in here, though. Like, I think also in this report, because I read a little bit of it, they mentioned that they did do a Panzer Dragoon remake and like Streets of Rage 4 and stuff like that. So it's basically about leveraging their IP in general, not just the live service stuff. But House of the Dead is here too, obviously, which just got a remake, right? So, and then Soul Hackers is here, which is Steve, which is weird. I don't know.
They did just announce a sequel.
I guess so, huh? So, wow, if we're to believe everything that's on here, which so far has come true, isn't there like a Space Channel 5 is on here? Isn't there a Space Channel 5 VR? Right? Didn't that just happen?
So.
Yo, are we getting a new Shinobi game that isn't trash? Because like, now I'm kind of excited. I was reading this list with dread, but now I'm like excited for Shinobi. I just turned it around.
Oh, no, don't be too excited. Maybe it's a movie. There's a Streets of Rage movie now they announced the other week, and I have no faith in that.
There's already a Shinobi movie. It's called Ninja Assassin.
That's right, but you know.
No, man. Anyway, just look, do you see, I mean, I guess most of these are covered now. I was going to ask, like, do you see any of these like being good for like a live service? Altered Beast is also on here, which is trash. I hope that never comes back. Like
take a shot every time Andre shit talks Altered Beast.
Rise from your grave. Pay $5.
Our neighbors at the time, they got a Genesis whenever it came out here, August 89 or whatever. I was so excited to go over there and see it. 16-bit graphics, right? This is well before Super Nintendo. Obviously, we had arcades, right? But I was just like, and they were going ballistic over this Altered Beast. And I was just like, am I in a bad movie? Is this weird? Like, am I losing my mind, or is this trash? Like, I thought that when I was, however, 7 years old. Anyway,
And this frame rate is abysmal.
oh, that's like the only thing that holds up about it. No, God, like, I don't know, Knights, the live service game, wouldn't that, like, okay, I don't even like Knights, but, like, the people who do treat that with, like, such reverence, wouldn't that just, like, I don't know, the people who care about that, I feel like they would just cry. I don't think anyone wants that.
I mean, I'm always sad that Skies of Arcadia is never included in any of these evaluations of things we need to bring back ever, but it's okay. I can just remember my time on the GameCube game. It's fine. We never need to go do Sky Pirate shit ever again. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, look, I really like Skies of Arcadia. I haven't really clamored for a second. I mean, what can they do?
Reissue the first one on a system you're playing right now.
I guess Vice would have been, if like Skies of Arcadia wasn't so damn obscure, Vice would have been a great Smash character, but no one cares. So that's the problem. Anyway, I think that's about it for our big questions. We will be right back. We will get very unpopular. We're going to say very unpopular things, and you guys are going to yell at your iPods because you're still going to listen to us on an iPod and not some sort of modern device. Be right back. Okay. All right. I guess we're back. Sort of. Is everyone here?
Mr. Bear!
Oh, no. Okay. Unpopular gaming opinions time. We like to do this because we like to say controversial things and then yell at each other, because who doesn't, really? That's the whole point of being friends. So, Steve doesn't think Steve thinks his is very basic bitch or something. So, I don't know. He wants to go first, so let's see. I don't know. You could very well just piss me off in a flash. You never know.
You know, guys, I don't mind stealth in games. I don't mind stealth games. I don't mind stealth in games. When you got people bitching about that beginning part of Wind Waker, oh, the Forsaken Fortress. It's fine.
And it's not fine.
It
is not fine. No, it is not fine.
It's borderline kind of shitty.
It's bad.
You know what? I'm not gonna fight you on it, but I'm not gonna, pretend like it ruined it stole all my lunch money and pulled down my pants in gym class.
Oh,
it gave you a wedgie.
It's fine. I mean, one of the games I'm probably going to be talking about next week, a Plague Tale. It's nothing but stealth missions. I'm digging it so far.
Yeah, a stealth game like a Metal Gear, not like. I didn't buy Zelda for this. I thought that was bad, especially to begin the game. You have to at least admit that. That's like a shitty way to start a game.
I know, but I still didn't like. Again, it didn't kill my parents. It didn't steal all my credit cards and put me into debt.
That you know of.
No, I'm pretty sure it didn't. It definitely didn't do it again in 2013 when they put it on Wii U.
What's that? I don't know. I know you haven't played like the trash masterpiece that is like the Order 1886, but like you should sometime. I'm sure it'll be on like the upcoming services, because why not? Because the game is worthless, but it's like good for like a 6-hour LOLs. Anyway, that game, like, that's like the epitome to me when I think of like needless stealth in a game. It's that, and that game does suck. But like, I always think it's just the crutch of the unimaginative, which is not who makes Zelda. Which is why I was so surprised to see it there. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I just got done playing Ghostwire Tokyo, which also has like crappy stealth. Like, please never, developers, don't listen to Steve. Please never.
Oh no, I've done some crappy stealth. When I was playing Tales of the Abyss on 3DS, but it's basically the PS2 game. There was a very shitty stealth section where we had to smuggle something through a forest, and it basically turned into, you know what? No, everything. You guys notice everything. You don't give me anything to hide behind. I'm just going to fight my way through this. I don't care about how much gold I'm getting on the other side.
Gold
for doing it the stealth way. I'm going to beat the snot out of you. But no, but most of the time, I'm fine with stealth.
This is very upsetting. You said this was a basic. No, this is not. This sucks. I hate stealth. It's awful. I'm sorry, Kevin. You were going to say something, maybe, or
I just when we were talking about Wind Waker, I feel like it was, and I don't think it takes as long, but I was much more offended by the castle section in Ocarina of Time, just because it feels so fucking slow and tedious. That's what I really don't like.
Oh, well, that is bad for sure. But it's just like, okay, all right. Should I go?
Come on, guys, ruin my evening. You've been building this up.
I'm not gonna. I don't think you guys are gonna care about this. I really don't. I mean, maybe you will, but like, this is just something I've seen bandied about my whole life, and when I saw Sonic Origins, it just really struck me in the face because they took it one step further. I don't know if you saw the main menu, like in the actual game, not the stupid chart, but they had the games listed: Sonic, Sonic 2, and then specifically it says Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are not better as one conglomerate game. They are two separate games, and we should play them as such. It's not better if you put them together, as the lock-on card suggests that you do. It's not. It's too long. It's too much. They're not really they're not really designed to be played that way. It's not a great experience. I'm not saying I've never played them that way, because of course I have. I played them that way a lot. But if I'm like turning on one of those complete, like, I don't know, Sonic Mega Collection, I want to play Sonic 3 or I want to play Sonic and Knuckles. That's it. Does anyone else? I mean, like, but whenever I say that, people are like, oh my God, it's like the greatest platformer. It's like, I don't think so.
I'm not going to say it's the greatest platformer, but
you prefer to play them together.
They give me a save function. I can use it. I can take a break.
They give you it because
make myself a sandwich. Go to the bathroom.
They give you it because the games aren't actually supposed to be that long. You need a save function, or else you would never beat it as like one. Like when they become one on the spiritual sexual level inside of your Sega Genesis.
I mean, I played Sonic and Knuckles separately a bunch actually, because one, my uncle had it that way, and two, the GameCube collection makes you play it that way X amount of times before you play it the combined way. Sonic and Knuckles just assumes you've already played all the other Sonic games to that point, it doesn't really wean you in like the other ones do.
I think that's great, though. I think it's fine when a game starts on, because essentially it's the fourth Genesis Sonic game. It's like the Mario 3 effect, right? Like, you know what this is, you know what to do, and we're really going to give you the business. I like that.
Well, but Mario 3 even, eases you into what's going to happen. Sonic and Knuckles says, no, fuck you, flying battery zone.
That mushroom level ain't too bad. It's not like it's,
Well, the boss in that is kind of bullshit for if you're playing that for the first time.
I guess so. I didn't play them locked together until Sonic Mega Collection 2 because I had one friend who had Sonic 3 and I had another friend who had Sonic and Knuckles, lived on opposite ends of town. It's not like they ever met each other, so I just played them separately. And then it's like, oh yeah, I get to finally play them together is like the thing, and then do all the special, the hyper emeralds and all that shit. Okay, yeah, you get some quote unquote bonus content if you put them together. But is it really?
I'm fucking outraged at that opinion.
See, I knew you guys wouldn't give a shit. I told you.
I mean, you're
wrong. I said outraged.
You're not outraged. You're not outraged. You have never been outraged.
Do you feel better having had talked about this now?
No, because everyone's just going to yell at me.
Who is everybody? Who is everybody? The Sonic fans with their OCs do not steals? You care about them?
Yes.
The ones who aren't subbed to a Fine Time podcast, available wherever podcasts are available.
I got attacked on Twitter one time because I said, like, do you remember when all the anime avatars came after me? Because I said, like, yo, there's a reason why Sony doesn't want, like, underage titty games on their console. And they all descended on me, man. It was wild. I got, like...
They did the same thing to me back when this was a conversation for Tokyo Mirage sessions.
Oh, my God. It's just like, go fucking, like... What's the phrase the kids nowadays? Touch some grass?
Touch grass.
Like, yeah, please, God. It's just unbelievable.
Or as we would just say in our age bracket, get a job.
Oh, okay, the last time I talked about this Sonic 3 and Knuckles thing, someone came to me and is like, well, Sonic Mania is 12 zones or whatever, and if you put Sonic 3 and Knuckles together, it's also 12 zones. Yeah, because Sonic Mania was designed as one cohesive game unit. Those 12 zones work in concert with each other. None of them are too... Like, if you play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you have, like, Sandopolis and, like, Hydro City and just, like, these long... It would never be structured that way if it was actually meant to be played that way. That's how you know it's not. You would never have a zone like Sandopolis be that long. You can run out of fucking time in Sandopolis. They made it that way because just in case you only have Sonic and Knuckles, which is probably the way you're supposed to play it. I don't care if it has a flip-top head to get fucked by Sonic 3 and then put in your Sega Genesis on the spiritual sexual level. I'm sorry. It's just not natural. Did I become a Republican? What just happened?
A little bit, yes. You should probably make a donation to Planned Parenthood or something.
I should probably make an account on Gab or Parler or one of them shits. Isn't that where the Canadian truckers hang out, Kevin, on Parler?
I don't know. I'm just so upset about that Sonic 3 opinion that I can't even speak right now.
Okay, I'm sorry to bring that up. Let's change the subject and you get to your unpopular opinion.
Shift gears. All right. Just hold on a sec while I crawl up on my soapbox here because I want to dialogue for a moment before I spring it on you. Because I don't think this is going to be outrageous or anything, but I do think I need to really back this opinion up before I say it. I also just like talking about this shit, to be honest, both on our previous creative endeavor as well as this show. We've kind of talked about like social commentary in game, and I've always said I'm fully in favor of that as long as it fits the game. I don't want to feel like I'm being sold more of a message than a game. I don't want to beat a dead horse because I feel like we've been bringing up Horizon, every episode for the last 4 episodes. But I think, Andre, you made a great point when you talked about the fact that they painted a picture with like a lack of racial and gender inequality, and they just let that picture speak for itself. They let you live in that world and draw your own conclusions. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. The best cases of a commentary like that are to make it interesting, not tack something onto it. Like give me a character that has lived a different experience than I have, and let me see that organically. I think that's great. Now, on a little bit of a separate note, 100%, I absolutely agree that, mental health is an important conversation, and I really applaud that has been brought more into the common dialogue over the last few years. And I will say I can personally attest to that. I take antidepressants. I've certainly had my own thing with that, so I don't want it to seem like I'm underplaying it whatsoever, because I'm not. But I do want to say, here's a game that I don't think handled that well at all, which is Celeste. I'm just waiting for Steven's face to twinge a little bit, because I think this might be where I certainly won't rag on Celeste over gameplay. I think the gameplay was great. It had excellent control. I didn't finish that game, and for a reason. I enjoyed the game part of it. But I feel like the way that they handled the mental health is the story motif in there. It seemed very heavy-handed and lacking of nuance, where they were trying to make it nuanced, but I just feel like it very much was spending all of its time, any time that you weren't in the platforming, telling you with a very thin veil what was going on, I guess. And it really degraded the game for me. I mean, for one, I think if you do want to do that with the game, don't do it with a 2D platformer. I think it was just a poor pairing. Certainly, if somebody has that message they want to tell, then they certainly should be able to do it. Just the way it was done is climbing the mountain and kind of meeting these different characters, and having the like shadow character as like all of, I don't know. It was just so insanely apparent what they were trying to say, to the point where I found it off-putting. I didn't finish the game because it kind of got on my nerves. And I also think I will go as far as to say I thought it was a little bit discouraging that game was universally praised, and everything that was brought up about it was like, it did so much for mental health. It did so much for mental health. And it came off to me as the press felt obligated to say that, because it used that as the story motif. You know what? I think people were scared to say, you know what, mental health is a really important topic, but it doesn't fit here, and the game lost credibility for that. And that's okay to say. Again, I think if that developer had that message that they wanted to put out there, and they felt the game was the way to do it, that's great. I just don't think it was implemented well at all there. And yeah, I think it really hurt the game.
This is interesting. I'm thinking of, like, how do I say this? The movies that win at the Oscars that are either about, for lack of a better term, black people, whether it's about slavery, it's always these very, like, self-serving is the wrong term, but the movies have to make white people feel good. It's like about like Green Book, or like The Help, or something like that, where it's like you're doing this very specific, you're not going too far out of your way to say like, oh man, this is like a terrible, but it has to be this very like self-serious. In other words, it can never be Django Unchained, right? Like it can never be like this like celebratory, like really bizarre, like, you know what I mean? Celebratory isn't the wrong word, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like this, like very,
it needs
over
to be artsy, but in the right way.
Yeah, right. I think Django Unchained is like tackle slavery better than like half those movies that win Oscars. I'll tell you that much. And that movie wasn't even trying. It was just Tarantino doing his Tarantino thing, right? But even he was like more careful. It's like, no, if I'm going to do a movie in this period, I've got to, you know what I mean? But then you have scenes, and then you guys have seen this movie, right? I'm not just talking out of my ass.
Yes.
Like, okay,
yeah.
Okay. The part like where, he straight up shows like slaves getting whipped and stuff, like for real. Like that's not funny, right? Or that's not like amusing, like some of the other parts of the movie are, but it has that brutality. Plus it has whatever else to ease you in, a bit of humor, you get the cathartic, like revenge plot, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is Celeste doesn't really have that, right? It's just, here's mental health, here's shadow people, I'm climbing the mountain of it's very one note, and mental health is not one note, right? Like I may not be depressed, I may not be, like thankfully I don't really have those kind of ailments, but I know enough people who do, and even I know, like, it doesn't work that way, right? It's a very idealistic view
Yeah.
of mental health, which is what I guess what I was trying to say. Those Oscar movies are a very idealistic view of slavery or other injustices towards black people. Just like, I mean, like, no, it's not Song of the South or something, right? But it's, you know what I'm trying to say. It's very idealistic in a way that's good for people to digest, so they feel good about it, right? So,
Yep. I hate to use this term, but I think maybe the term you're looking for is virtue signaling, and the reason I hate to use that term is because I feel like that's the immediate conservative way to say anything that, you know, somebody's standing up for that you don't believe. Well, it's just virtue signaling. You're just saying it for attention or whatever. But I do think there I want a term that isn't that term that means the same thing in a rational way, I guess, because I think you really hit the nail on the head. The nail on the head with the Django Unchained thing. That movie is super interesting, and it's raw and it's real, and it does have a message in there, but it's not saying we have a message, let's try and find a way to shoehorn anything around it to provide that message. There's substance there, where I think a lot of those other movies you talk about are like that. It's just that we have a message that we really want to tell, so we have to force ourselves to find a way to tell it.
Yeah, I think we're totally agreeing on that. So, yeah, that's interesting. I guess I'm the only, like, I have also played Celeste. I really enjoyed Celeste. Like, Steve didn't like the gameplay. You didn't like the story. I thought both were actually, like...
I thought Steve was, like, a huge Celeste fan.
I did not care for... I told you, I did not... Celeste is a fine story. It needs to be told, but the game is terrible.
I must have this completely conflated with something else, because...
Like I said, I turned on the infinite jumps and the invincibility like 3 or 4 levels in, because no, pixel perfect platforming is bullshit.
Okay, I totally.
If there's only one way to do a thing, I hate it.
I'm still surprised you feel that way, or not surprised you feel that way. I'm surprised you went through the lengths of turning on the cheats and stuff. I figured you would have just dropped it or something. Because, like, I remember when we were initially talking about it, I thought you just gave up.
Because this was a depression story, I felt like, okay, you know, if this is going to be the depression, me turning this shit on is like going to counseling and taking medication. I'm getting help. I have sought help to cure Celeste. So
I've often thought about going back to Celeste, and, like, you know, being fully aware of how I feel, because I think knowing that going into it, I would have a lot better time of it. Every time there's a cutscene, just mashing yeah, because it was made such a big deal about the story when I first played it. You know, I was really trying to pay attention and trying to, like, invest myself in that side of it. Whereas I think I would get a lot more out of that game if I completely ignore that.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I didn't mind the story, and I didn't mind the game. I'm the only one who's not being an indie asshole right now. It's a tables have turned. Wow, I'm the Celeste liker. I did not see that coming. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and you know what? I'm gonna say I don't usually enjoy the pixel perfect. I don't like stuff like Super Meat Boy, or, like, you know what I mean, like the other examples that we had. Like, that drives me crazy, right? But I like Celeste. Anyway.
Did you at all get a sense that it was, like, trying to beat you over the head with the story a little bit too much?
I don't think it was trying to be subtle at all.
Yes, I did.
That's
feel
the difference. I don't think I went in and I caught the thing right away, because I've been here before. I didn't think it was trying to be subtle in the slightest.
It was like a 90s after school special, basically.
Yes.
And it's like, that was fine, though. It didn't bother me the way you did. I think your gripes are completely valid. It just didn't hit me that way.
Mm-hmm. We are now the podcast that hates Celeste. We will wait for our fine time as canceled hashtags on a platform that will no longer exist in a few months.
Okay, guys. We're gonna do a spoiler hours here. This isn't as warning heavy as the last one, because Horizon Forbidden West is a recent game. We're gonna be talking about Tales of Berseria, because Steve finally beat it. Yes, this game is 6 years old. I'm sure anyone who cares has already played it, but just in case, This is your warning. If you don't want to hear about Tales of Berseria for some reason, then tune out now. We'll see you next time on Fine Time. If you want to continue with us with our discussion of Tales of Berseria, here it begins now.
So, last year, for my birthday, you guys got me a gift. And included in that gift was a copy of this game for Spoiler Hour, Tales of Berseria.
What else did we get you? I know me and Kevin were collaborating this. I thought of Tales of Berseria, and Kevin thought of something else.
You also got me Dragon Quest Warriors 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was it.
I wanted to do Shadow of the Colossus remake, but I think it was out of print at that point.
Yeah, because we couldn't get a physical copy. Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, yes, I did play other games first on my console at the time. Kevin made a big deal out of God of War, and I caught that for cheap, so I played that. Andre also sent me a copy of R-Type Final 2, so there was that. And I played other things along the way until finally I started Tales of Berseria, gave up the PS4, and then started, thanks to Cloud Save, started all over again. Well, started right where I left off in PS5, and I just finished it the other week. And guys, it's kind of fucked up.
It's a fucked up game. It's a really fucked up game.
I mean, I like my Tales. I've been on here to talk about Vesperia, the one that was on everything recently, re-released, and I even talked about Tales of the Abyss earlier, which was mostly forgettable by the time you get to it. But you actually, I'm just going to talk about this story here, I mean, just because I feel like it's fairly important. I feel like what drove some people away. You're kind of the bad guy. Well, not kind of the bad guy. You are explicitly the bad guy.
I love it.
Who's living with her brother and brother-in-law in a village in the middle of nowhere, when one night you just catch your brother-in-law sacrificing your brother in the pit just outside of town, and everything just snaps in her head, and she wakes up in a prison cell, and...
Can we say about that scene when he was doing that, the way Arthur turned around and then the big red cross went boom, like in the background? I thought that was so fucking mid-2000s Castlevania. It was incredible. Like, I loved it. That was so anime AF. It was ridiculous. It was great.
I mean, and then they fast forward 3 years later. She's in the bottom of a pit in a demon jail. She's got this demon arm that she uses to eat souls because, of course, we're going to just really lean into this mid-2000s anime bullshit right off the bat.
Can we talk about the outfit, please? We've waited long enough.
What outfit? I mean, I ended up sticking a cowboy hat on mine, but other than that, there's really...
I did that too, because I wanted that One-chan Bara vibe to it. Because that's the kind of pervert I am, but like...
It's when I was bringing this up the other day, it was like, wasn't there someone in Tales of Symphonia with a purple kimono and long black hair and big boobies? Well, Kevin, we got how about long black hair, a ripped red blouse, and a torn apart jacket, and a bandaged up arm and big boobies. How about that as the main character?
Sold.
It's just a great design.
She leads a prison break where she just assembles this cast of characters that were probably rejected from other Tales games, and
wait, we need to talk about that. You establish one of the things I really drew me into the game early is that you establish that she's not going to play by quote unquote the rules. She uses the prison outbreak. She kind of sends them to their death, but she doesn't care if they live or die. She needs a distraction. Okay, the prisoners fight the demons and they can leave. She doesn't care what happens to them. She genuinely doesn't give a shit. She's on a mission to kill her brother-in-law. That is it. Like, and I love that because it's like, oh, we're really doing that, huh? Think about the moral quandaries that Tales of Vesperia try to put you in. Oh no, you offed a few like bad guys by yourself, vigilante justice, blah blah blah.
Very right? Bad people.
Yeah, very very bad people, and then they kind of want you to feel like ambivalent about it because he did that, but it's like in this game, it's like no, that's not happening. Velvet is just doing what she needs to do. That is the whole soul of the game, really, isn't it? It sets the tone.
Okay, the samurai with two swords can come with me. Everyone else, you're on your own. But that's kind of just to talk about the way itself is framed, because you're the bad guy and the story is framed in such a way that we're evading the church that was established in the time that you were in jail by your brother-in-law, or confronting different people depending on what the story dictates. You're kind of just being flung place to place a good chunk of the time, like we're going on a line instead of getting to explore our surroundings, and that's fine because I get the set, and you kind of did too, because you pointed out this is very much a PlayStation 3 game,
Yeah,
and it was in Japan, as I discovered later.
I don't think it came out here on PlayStation 3 because
It
we
did
didn't give a
not.
fuck. Yeah, but
2016,
but it still is. I mean, look at it, right? So like, yeah, the world map just being points, dots here, just go here or go there. That's perfectly fine, because I honestly don't want them to attempt that sort of the worst part of any Tales game is the overworld. It always sucks. Like, especially Vesperia's is bad. Like, honestly bad. It was excusable in like Symphonia or whatever, but like Vesperia's looks like it belongs in the generation before it, not on an Xbox 360. Like, it was really ghetto.
yeah, I guess
Like,
Symphonia will always be my go-to on that, because I really like those maps there. But I could be wrong, but was this is the first one I played where the battle system's in 3D now? Is that the case?
I think Zesteria tried to do something like that, but I don't suggest you try it because that game sucks. I mean, look, don't take my word for it. If you really insist, go ahead. But I did not like it. But no, they tried to do something similar to this. Berseria is way better at it.
I mean, they obviously focused on making this as good as they could better, because even other things I'm used to, like cooking, is just down to, okay, just slap these ingredients together and we'll have bonuses in between the fights.
I think I barely cooked in this game. I mean, because it's so easy. I mean, did you get a game over? Like, honestly, I'm not sure that I did. I think I died once.
I'm really, yeah, maybe once.
Yeah,
I mean, I always had cooking on because there's usually goofy conversations after you've cooked for a while. But you look at Symphonia, and even Vesperia, like, you had all these cooking things, and each one had its own level that characters had whatever for it. Is like, no, here's the stuff we can cook, and here's the shit you need to make it. Go find it with our enemy drops, or the not mobile ship game thing, where we have to wait a real half-hour time for the ship to come back.
I didn't mind that. It's fine because because you're just doing whatever in the field or whatever, or doing little shitty side missions. But I don't know. Who cares?
No, I mean, it was fine, but I just thought it was odd that. Well, Bravely Second had a similar thing to that. I'm like, oh, so this wasn't the only one that was doing that around 2016.
What, you haven't had your fill of mystery meat?
Oh, I thought we were going to use the mystery meat for a lot more.
Mystery meat casserole.
But yeah, head back to the story. You went, despite some decently designed characters. We're here for Velvet, who's gonna kill her brother-in-law and doesn't care who gets in the way, and Laphicet, who is I guess you could just call him a homunculus, who vaguely resembles her brother and is accidentally, quote, I put in very large quotes, kidnapped in the middle of a cutscene and stolen from one of the exorcists along the way. Like, okay, he's ours now, and the brother the issues that cause, they kind of lead you along. Like, is this part of what the Advent is? Is this my brother reincarnated into a different form? And oh boy, the answer to that is oh fuck. I guess we do we crank up the anime dial, Andre?
Yes, I've been waiting this whole time. We've been simmering. Turn it up.
So
turn it the fuck up.
So you're getting too close. You've exposed a lot of the truth now, especially when the real Laphicet we threw in the pit becomes the vessel for the true God you were trying to revive the whole time. He wanted to do this on purpose. because he was dying anyway, making this whole quest for revenge pointless, and they try to make you question that, but not really, because anime.
Attack and dethrone God. It was very obvious from the beginning, especially since the guy himself looks like a fucking. I'm telling you, I cannot shake the Castlevania from this game. I can't. He's just
especially
Arthur is a unlockable character in Portrait of Ruin. That's all there is to it. Like, he's just a.
But guy, it's a lot of killing, and God doesn't like a power vacuum. So how do we stop the power vacuum? Velvet and Laffy said create this very freaky Ouroboros situation where they're sucking life force from each other and thusly can't attack anybody else and cause problems. And then the other 4 elementals you had to wake up along the way are like, okay, that's nice, but bad shit's gonna happen if no one else steps up to be God. And Laffy said, who's like this 8-year-old kid in perpetuity, it's like, I'll do it. And they think about it for about 2 seconds. Well, you were technically part of the god you just killed, so this could work. If you agree, just say the lines and we'll let you be God. 2 scenes later, we see him become a giant dragon god king thing. Truly majestic. Oh, man, what a character development adventure this has been for Laffy said, the homunculus becoming a real living, breathing thing. He's a god dragon now. Oh God, what was his name? Magilu's little pet, Bienfu. He's a little cat demon with a hat who just wants to see boobies. I mean, who can't relate to that?
You're not doing the voice, and I really.
Oh. I just want to see the boobies.
But Bienfu, can I borrow your magazines?
Sure, no, I gotta do Magilu's skirt. It's a very hard voice to do. You ever watch Muppet Babies, the original one, not the new one? Well, it might sound fine on the new one, but reminds me of Baby Gonzo.
There's a new Muppet Babies?
Yeah, but it is actually intended for just children as opposed to...
Is there a new everything? Oh my God. Okay.
But I mean... But that's what I'm getting to. Like, the rest of the cast is kind of just there. You have Magilu the Witch, who looks like she's trying to sell me premium currency in the free-to-play Tales game on my mobile device, not be a character in this game, which is fine because...
Are we sure that she's not? Because, like, I mean, I know there is one that exists.
I mean, which is fine because that's kind of the point. Anyone that kind of wants to join up was allowed, and... But that's kind of the other weird thing too. They kind of had to staple some of the other weird story points along the way. Like you have Eisen, who's this guy who's running a pirate ship, and an absence of this guy of this version of Eifried, who's a bit of a Tales staple. And I feel like, okay, we did all this God stuff, but then they realized, oh shit, we never. They were about to print the game, but oh shit, we never resolved the Eifried story. We need to like do something about that. And then they did something about that, which was sort of make him a demon that you had to punch the shit out of at the last possible in the last 2 hours of the game.
They did string that along for like a weird, I don't know why. I guess they always do that, don't they? I didn't care that much, but
I feel like the Eifried and Berseria was a bit more satisfactory, I feel. Then, well, you might remember the samurai guy. He had a brother, and he's like, I gotta beat my brother. And over the course of the game, there's the swordsmith, who turned demon from however long ago, and he's helping them build incrementally better swords until he finally forges himself into a sword off screen.
And then that doesn't work either.
No, he ends up just stabbing, like, which is why I basically said this is Velvet. We're here for Velvet and Laffy. So like everyone else is like, oh shit, we better resolve this somehow.
I don't know why we had to. I mean, look, I guess everything has to come to a head at the end of the game, right? But I don't know why we had to like the samurai thing is happening now. Ifreed is happening now. Like it was just very like here's all the beats happening. We only like you said, we only care about the one thing, really. So like,
And they did that one. Those two. Well, I would almost call it two things, but I guess it really was the same story with the two of them together. They did it good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But yes, there are parts. Like I said, if there weren't a whole lot of side quests in this game, it doesn't really encourage you to backtrack too much. Like I know I started a few side quests that I never finished. There was one point where obviously it's like, we're gonna make this medicine and save a lot of people. I never went to find those potion ingredients.
I did like two of them until like the third one was in some really obnoxious. I was like, I'm just not doing this. I'm not. I think side questing in Tales is usually crap anyway. It's always the worst part of any of those games. So like, it's not something I usually pursue. But that I did try a little bit because there wasn't a world map for me to run around for like days and get lost on or whatever. But because I could just go point to point. But even doing that, it was just like I'm not doing this.
But if you play it in the straight line, this mostly is. I think it's a good time. I liked it a lot. Kevin, you gonna spend your $10 now that I ruined the game for you?
Boy, you know what? When you guys started with the sister and the brother-in-law in the prison, and it sounded really interesting. But then by the time we got to the volcano and the guy turning himself into the sword and stuff,
that was a bridge too far.
it seems like a lot.
I mean, he didn't even mention the incest.
Oh my God!
Count me back in.
Okay, well, the Exorcists are a team of people that are picked by God Artorias, Savior Artorias, and one of them, well, two of them are a brother-sister team. It's Oscar and Teresa, I think their names are, and
they're not. They don't actually fuck.
They're not fucking, but they wanna.
It has that very implied like this is weird. Their relationship is a little too. You know what I mean? You see a sibling pair, and it's like those two are, man. I don't know. They must.
In a previous creative endeavor, we talked about the Pole Position cartoon, and those two were a little too close. They make them look like their co-workers.
I didn't even. Those two in Pole Position are the fucking carpenters compared to like what's happening in this game. This is like,
we have to save my brother. Okay, but I'm going to kill you if you get out of the line. I don't care. I must see him again. I must.
Mm-hmm. It's biblically.
You mean the two of them hugging at the end of the game also wasn't more incestuous than what the two of them were ever doing?
I mean, yeah. Well, the whole every look. I know you haven't played Drakengard. To me, that's like the top model of incest. But like the those two in that they're up there. It's bad. Anyway, that's enough show for today. You guys want to find us on Twitter? It's at Fine Time Podcast. I'm sure you know that already. You can find me, your boy Dre, that's me, or Steve, or Kevin. Our names are in the bio. Fine Time Podcast on Twitter until Elon Musk takes it away from us. Until then, guys, bye. And part of that, you were talking about, like, in the... That was a really loud siren. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I'm being arrested for not liking Hollow Knight.
As you should.
Oh, my God. Wow, I know what I'm putting at the end of the show now.